The soft glow of the restaurant's chandeliers cast a warm sheen over the polished wooden tables, giving the place an elegant, almost romantic atmosphere. It was the kind of place people came to celebrate anniversaries, propose, or, in tonight's case, go on blind dates arranged by well-meaning but meddling friends. Rear Admiral Evelyn Hart checked her watch for the third time that minute. She wasn't late. In fact, she had arrived 10 minutes early, hoping to compose herself. She tugged at the edges of her navy blue dress, inhaled slowly, and reminded herself that she had survived battles at sea, political storms in Washington, and years of leadership. She could survive a date. The hostess approached. "Ma'am, would you like some water while you wait?" "Yes, please." Evelyn forced a smile. Her therapist had encouraged her to start dating again after 5 years of burying herself in work and grief. "You deserve connection, Admiral, drive," Lee had said gently. "Let someone see you, the real you." Easier said than done. Evelyn knew she wasn't the slim, fierce-looking officer she had been in her 30s. She had put on weight in the last few years, stress, grief, endless work hours, and a metabolism that no longer cooperated. She tried not to mind. But today, her nerves whispered otherwise. Suddenly, she spotted a man entering the restaurant. Tall, sharp-jawed, wearing a blazer far more expensive than hers. He scanned the room as though searching for someone. Evelyn stiffened. It must be him, Daniel. She raised her hand slightly. His eyes landed on her. For half a heartbeat, hope flickered. Then his expression shifted. Disappointment, irritation, embarrassment. He walked toward her, mask of politeness barely holding. "Evelyn?" he asked, though he clearly knew the answer. "Yes," she said, rising to shake his hand. Daniel shook half-heartedly. "Well, you look different from your pictures." She swallowed. "They were taken about 2 years ago." 2 years, he murmured, eyeing her from head to toe. "A lot can change." Evelyn forced her shoulders back. "Shall we sit?" He sighed as if exhausted by her presence. "Actually, I don't think this is going to work." She blinked. "We haven't even." "I'm sorry," he cut in. "I was expecting someone fit. Someone who takes care of themselves." He looked at her dress, her arms, her midsection. "Not someone who's, well, bigger." The words hit like a slap. She felt heat rising behind her eyes, but she refused to let him see her break. "I see," she said quietly. Daniel shrugged, utterly unbothered. "No hard feelings, right? You're probably a nice person. It's just, I need someone who matches my lifestyle. Fitness, travel, adventure. You, he hesitated, then said it plainly. "You're too fat." The air left her lungs. People were beginning to glance over. She felt the walls closing in. Daniel added, "Honestly, your friend should have warned me. This was a waste of time." Evelyn sat still. "You could have handled this with more respect." "I'm just being honest," he replied, turning to walk away. "Good luck out there." She stared at the empty chair across from her. Her throat tightened. In all her years, no enemy, no storm, no briefing had ever made her feel as small as this stranger had managed to in 2 minutes flat. Then, just as she clenched her jaw and fought back tears, a deep voice behind her spoke. "Excuse me, ma'am, is everything okay?" She turned. Her breath caught. A man stood beside her table, brown-haired, stubble on his jaw, wearing a simple janitor uniform from the hotel next door. There was something warm and grounded in his eyes, something unpolished yet unwavering. He held a small bucket of cleaning supplies. Evelyn blinked. Yes, thank you. I'm fine." "You don't look fine," he said gently. His voice was low, steady, concerned. "I was walking by and saw the guy talking to you like he lost a bet." "Did he say something he shouldn't have?" She shook her head, embarrassed. "It's okay. It was just a blind date." The janitor's eyebrows lifted slightly. "Blind date. That explains the suit he couldn't breathe in." He cracked a small smile, and despite herself, Evelyn huffed a laugh. "Well," she said quietly, "it didn't go well." He lowered his bucket and sat slowly on the chair Daniel had abandoned. "If you don't mind me asking, why not?" Evelyn hesitated. Then, for some reason, she answered honestly. "He said I wasn't what he expected. That I wasn't fit enough." The janitor's expression hardened. "He said that to your face?" She shrugged. "Men like him don't think twice." He murmured, leaning back. Maybe men like him don't see well. She blinked. Meaning? He looked straight at her, his voice calm but firm. Meaning he's blind in the ways that actually matter. Evelyn felt her cheeks warm. She didn't know how to respond. Before she could speak, the hostess approached. "Ma'am, are you still dining with us, or would you like your reservation cancelled?" Evelyn looked at the empty seat. "I'll cancel, thank you." The hostess nodded and walked away. The janitor rose. "Do you need a moment? I can leave." "No," she said quickly. Then softer, "If you don't mind, stay. Just for a moment." He nodded and sat again. "I'm Ben, by the way." "Evelyn." His eyes lit with recognition. "Evelyn Hart. Rear Admiral Hart." Her breath stalled. How do you?" He scratched the back of his neck. "My son is obsessed with Navy stuff. Watches all the interviews, documentaries, trainings. He watched one with you last month. You talked about leadership and loss. It meant a lot to him. And to me." Evelyn's breath hitched. She wasn't used to being recognized in public, especially not like this. Ben continued, "You're one of the toughest women I've ever heard speak. You talked about carrying people through storms even when you're barely holding on yourself." He smiled softly. "You stood there today and took that guy's cruelty without flinching. That's strength." Her eyes watered. She looked away quickly. "Please don't say things like that. Not today." He nodded, understanding. "Okay, then I'll say this instead." He leaned closer, voice calm and steady. "You deserve better. Much, much better." A long silence settled between them. For the first time since Daniel walked in, Evelyn felt her heartbeat ease. "Thank you," she whispered. Ben stood, lifting his cleaning bucket. "If you ever want company for a meal, real company, I get off in 20 minutes. He smiled shyly, but no pressure. She opened her mouth, unsure how to answer. But before she could speak, a small voice called from the entrance. "Daddy." A little boy, maybe 7 years old, ran toward them, his curly hair bouncing. A woman in a manager's uniform chased after him. "Ben, I'm so sorry." He slipped away. "It's okay," Ben said, kneeling. The boy threw his arms around him. "I finished my drawing. Look." He held up a crayon sketch of a ship, waves crashing under it, and a woman in uniform standing proudly at the helm. Evelyn gasped. The little boy blinked up at her. "Are you Admiral Hart?" She smiled softly. "Yes, I am." His face lit up like he'd just met a superhero. "Daddy says you're one of the bravest people in the Navy. I watched your rescue video. You saved all those people in the storm." Evelyn swallowed hard. "Well, I had an incredible team." The boy bounced. "Can you sign my drawing?" She looked at Ben, who shrugged. "He's persistent." Evelyn pulled a pen from her purse and gently signed the sketch. As she handed it back, the boy whispered, "You're beautiful." She blinked. "Thank you." Ben smiled softly at her, pride swelling in his eyes, not for himself, but for his son. The manager approached. "Ben, you're off in 15. Take him next door for dinner." On the house, he thanked her, then turned to Evelyn. "We were going to get burgers. Nothing fancy. You're welcome to join us. Zero pressure." Evelyn considered. Her heart felt fragile, but strangely hopeful. She looked at Ben. The kindness in his eyes, the way he didn't try to impress her, the way he simply saw her. "How about," she said slowly, "we all grab burgers together?" Ben's eyes widened slightly. Really? She smiled. "If your son doesn't mind." The boy grinned. Burgers. They stepped out of the restaurant together, the night air cool on their skin. Daniel, her failed date, was standing outside on his phone. He glanced up, irritation still written on his face. But then he froze, because the Admiral he had dismissed was walking out beside a janitor who looked at her like she was the rarest thing he'd ever seen. And her laughter, small, genuine, warm, echoed behind them. Ben held the door for her. "After you, Admiral." Evelyn shook her head lightly. "Evelyn. Just Evelyn." He smiled. "Evelyn it is." As they walked toward the burger shop, her heart felt lighter than it had in years. She had gone on a date expecting rejection. Instead, she'd found kindness in the last place she expected. And maybe, just maybe, a new beginning.